Hi, Diane.
Hey, Corey.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Weather's nice outside and it's
It's
a lovely fall
beautiful.
day. Yeah,
Yeah, here in
really is.
Nashville, it's a little warm.
Here in Roanoke too, it's going to be in the high 60s today.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah. So thanks for taking the time for us to chat today. You and I have known each other for quite a while and we've worked together. The
Mhm.
purpose of this little chat is for our Koachee coaching clients to get to know our corporate coaches better. So I just thought we'd get together and have a quick little interview and chat and just converse with each other about what's happening in our coaching. So
Thank
tell
you.
our friends who are listening to us, who you are, what type of coaching you do, what's meaningful for you.
In coaching?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, I'm an executive coach. And as you know, I just completed a team coaching um, year-long program, in-depth program, which was really good. And I passed, so now I can become certified as a team coach. And then what I found was I didn't know how it's more complex in different ways than individual coaching, which, as you know, I love the individual coaching, the executive coaching.
Mhm.
Um, but there more complexity because there are more people in the room and it's bringing them together as a unit. And so it's just I enjoy that work as well as the individual.
Nice. Yeah. So what's meaningful about having those additional people in the room interacting?
It's helping them function differently. Sometimes they haven't been functioning as well as they could.
Mhm.
And so it's helping them, supporting them as they learn how to communicate toward reaching something that they want to reach. And what I love it is as they learn how they want, uh, what their norms are when they're in the room, how they're going to communicate, how they're going to achieve this together. What you find is that people start becoming, it becomes a more cohesive group. And what I'm finding is a more respectful group. They're not afraid of conflict. They work through conflict differently. It's not I'm right and you're wrong. It's okay, how are we going to bring this together? What is going to work for all of us? With the knowledge that sometimes one person, sometimes the leader says, based on everything, this is what we have to do.
Yeah, yeah, that's so interesting. The whole piece about conflict is not bad, right?
No,
It's necessary, but how do you navigate through it with purpose?
with purpose and so that it doesn't become personal.
Right.
This is for the larger good, whatever it is,
Mhm.
whatever that larger good is, the company or a nonprofit starting something new, whatever it is, what is the larger good? And how do we create this together and create it better?
Nice, nice.
And yeah, and continue learning as you go.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's really interesting. And as you know, I've done some work with teams. We've done some work with teams together.
Exactly. And we loved
Um,
it.
yeah. So you've been coaching for a while now. You're past president of ICF Tennessee.
Mhm.
You're a past and current board member of ICF
Yes.
Tennessee. Um, what caused you to get into coaching? What was the impetus for that?
It's a long story and I'm going to make it short.
Okay.
Um, I just was in something that I liked. I was working in an industry that I liked, but I found that it no longer fulfilled me. And I just felt like there was something else out there for me. And what I had avoided for years was being a service to others, even though in a sense I was being a service to others in what I did. And so I auditioned. I think I've told you I auditioned a number of different things. And I read an article and coaching was in it. And I thought, now that sounds interesting. And took a class. This is it. And then I went and trained at the Hudson Institute of Coaching, and I haven't looked back. And what I love about it and enjoy about it is that I view myself as supporting the other person to achieve what they want to achieve, to become better themselves, and sometimes this is the first time a person has had sort of a thought partner, someone who's in there just for them.
Right. Right. Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned the Hudson School, which is one of the top coach training programs around the country. So what did you get out of the Hudson School that was really valuable for you?
Several things. One, their framework of looking at the way we as adults grow and develop.
Mhm.
That's a good foundation. And where is this person in that frame? Where right now? I got the foundation of, as a coach, you have to constantly work on yourself. And that's called self as coach. How do I not form an opinion about what's going on with my client?
Yeah.
How do I not do that? And how do I know when I may be doing that? Because at that point, I'm not helping them. And so it's, how do I stay out of that? And so working on myself helps me to do that. How do I constantly learn as a coach so that I become a better coach for my clients and I have more to provide my clients? When I learn about somatic coaching, now that gives me something else too. When I learn about neuroplasticity, that gives me something else to offer to my clients. When I think about, you and I recently talked about the drama triangle and how we see that happens so much at work, how understanding that more provides me a better foundation for the work that I'm doing with my clients. So that, I think, is one, besides just the great tools they had and just the way they taught. I think those are some of my takeaways. And I also gained some lifetime friends.
Yeah. The networking in this business, the networking is so important because it can become a solitary business, right?
Yes. And you and I know that.
Yes.
And it can become very solitary. And you know that I meet with people that I trained with. There are 4 of us, we meet once a month. And so that's supportive. And we never share anything confidential about clients. But sometimes if there's something you're working through, it's nice to have someone else you can talk to. I think physicians probably have other physicians they can talk to.
Right.
Anybody in any other kind of industry has someone else to go to. You're working alone, you need that.
Yeah, absolutely. You were talking about the different things that are exciting you now, especially the team coaching piece. But when you think about your work with your individual clients, what's coming up for you now that's exciting, new? What trends are happening that are different?
Well, the pandemic has really impacted people, and you know that, we all know that. And what I'm seeing with clients is helping them create boundaries. And this is what I mean by that. I work from home. Get up in the morning, go check email immediately. Before I go to bed, check email. So working these very, very long hours and getting really strained and stretched and not as fresh. So it's, how do you create the boundaries because you're working from home, it's right there, I can go to it, so that when you're doing your work, your best self is showing up. And so that's what I think is one of the challenges. And how do you communicate with each other? How do leaders communicate with their teams individually so that they feel supported and make time for that? So those are some of the challenges. And, some people have come together, and now it's that tug and pull of not being aware of what's going to happen next and helping people balance. And I'm not really sure what word I'm looking for, but be able to gracefully go through what we're going through.
Yeah, I'm finding that also in my work with healthcare leaders and physician leaders.
Oh,
it's all about self-care and connection. You know, it's those
Yeah.
two things that are coming up over and over again. Everything is virtual. You know, we used to do coaching in person a lot, you know, or, you know, we've always done video or telephone, but there was a lot more in-person interaction. And now everything we're doing is virtual. And you're right. I also check my email, you know, until late in the evening.
I'm working on not doing that. And I really do. I'm like, okay, after 6, it's down. I'm going to eat dinner. I'm going to relax, read a book, whatever. Maybe there's a show I want to watch, but you have to have time for yourself. Get out, take that walk, whatever it is you do. And that's part of what I'm hearing from people is how do they care for themselves? But I am finding, we know with executives, things shift quickly. How do I shift with it?
Yeah, I think the pandemic has taught us all, and our clients especially, that it's really about agility.
It is about agility.
Yeah.
And becoming more resilient.
Yeah. Resilience.
And not hanging on so long. Because the world we live in now, you have to be able to shift a lot more quickly and move through it.
Yeah, and with some of my clients, the conversation we're having is how do we take that single focus that we've had through the pandemic, right? Because no matter what we were doing, no matter what silo you were in, no matter who you were leading, the whole world came together with one single focus. So we know it can be done now. Our clients have seen it being done. And the conversations with leaders now is how can we continue to be that focused once we come out of this pandemic?
Yes.
To move our companies along and move our teams along.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that communication comes into it as well.
Yeah.
How do I communicate differently?
Yeah. And listen.
And listen and notice. Absolutely.
Yeah,
and part of what I work with leaders is for their team. How now, since it's virtual, are they learning more about that individual? I have a client who's getting a new team, setting her plan. How am I going to learn about them? What are we going to do? All of that. Yes.
Yeah. It's not like you can just take them out for lunch or do an in-person one-day retreat anymore.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. When you think about our Koachee audience that we're talking to right now, what haven't I asked you? What would be helpful for them to know about you as a coach that we haven't talked about?
Oh gosh. Well, my clients are my priority. And I think when they get me, they when I am coaching someone, I'm all in for them. And I think that it's also one thing that clients that the work is not just in the meeting. Our work is pre-meeting. Yes. If you're reading a book, I'm reading a book. If I've read the book before, I'm reviewing it just to refresh myself. I'm thinking about articles that might be helpful for you, other ways that are going to support you, that are going to help you achieve your goals. I'm going to be there while you work on your plan, and I'm going to, in my way, continue to ask you questions that help you move along that plan and to accomplish what you say you want to accomplish. I'm also going to hold the mirror up for you sometimes. Might be a little uncomfortable. However, I will do it respectfully.
Yeah. I mean, part of our job is being an accountability partner.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know that I personally have to keep myself from falling into the trap of the change happens in the coaching session, because it doesn't. Just like you said, it happens between and outside of the coaching sessions.
Well, as you know, you'll meet with a client, and then the next time you meet, this came to me after our session. I realized this, I did this differently. Yes, it continues to swirl in someone's mind.
Right.
And then it comes out in the actions.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for spending the time with us. I can't thank you enough. This has been really wonderful to connect like this.
I have enjoyed it. And you know that I always like talking with you. So
Yeah, me as well.
thank you for interviewing me.
It was my pleasure. And I know we'll be talking again soon.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Bye.